My sister looked me dead in the eye at her own wedding reception and said, loud enough for the whole table to hear, I always knew you were the selfish one. Over a gift I gave her. So, am I the problem? Okay, let me set the scene. My name's not important, but let's call the key players me, my sister Dana, and our brother Marcus. The three of us grew up in the same house, same parents, same everything, and yet somehow we landed in wildly different financial situations as adults. Marcus is a software engineer. Good job, no kids, owns his place. I work in early childhood education. I love my job. I do not love my paycheck. Dana knows this. Everyone in our family knows this. It's not a secret and it's not something I'm ashamed of. Dana got engaged last spring to a great guy named Theo. We like Theo. Theo makes her happy, she makes him happy. The whole thing was genuinely lovely. And when the wedding invitation came with a link to their registry, I sat down, looked at what was left on it, and picked something I could actually afford, a beautiful hand-painted serving bowl set, around $250. I wrapped it nicely, I wrote a heartfelt card, and I was proud of it. Marcus, being Marcus, went off registry and handed them a check for $2,000. I found this out at the reception, not before. Not because Marcus told me, but because Dana did. Did innocently enough. We were mid-dinner, maybe an hour into the reception, and Dana leaned over and said warmly, I thought Marcus gave us $2,000. Can you believe it? And I smiled and said, that's incredible, good for him. And then she said less warmly, I just kind of thought since you're both family, you'd both want to give something comparable. I put my fork down. I said, Dana, I gave you $250. That's a real amount of money for me. She shrugged, actually shrugged, and said, I mean, sure, but Marcus didn't even hesitate. And I said, Marcus makes 4 times what I make. Theo jumped in quietly and said something like, hey, we love everything we got, bless him, but Dana wasn't done. She said, it's not even about the money, it's about making an effort. Which, okay, that one stung because that bowl took me 45 minutes to find and it's gorgeous. I said, the gift I gave you is an effort. I looked at your registry, I picked something meaningful, I wrapped it and wrote you a real card. And she said, you could have asked Marcus to go in together with you on something bigger. That's when I felt it, that specific kind of embarrassed anger, where you can't tell if you're more hurt or more furious. And here's the part where I maybe went wrong. I said, and I did say this, I'm not hiding it, I'm not going to borrow status from Marcus's bank account to make you feel better about what I can afford. Silence. Total silence at our end of the table. And Dana said it. I always knew you were the selfish one. Right there. In front of Theo's parents, our cousins, and her maid of honor. Here's what I did next, and I'll be honest. This is the part I keep turning over. I got up, hugged Theo because he'd been nothing but kind, told him congratulations and that I hoped they'd use the bowl for years, and then I left. I didn't say goodbye to Dana. I didn't make a scene, I didn't yell, I just picked up my clutch and walked out of the reception about 2 hours early. My mom called me while I was in the cab. She said Dana was upset that I'd ruined part of her wedding night by leaving, and that I should have just let it go in the moment. And look, I hear that, it was her wedding day. Maybe I should have swallowed it and stayed. But I also couldn't sit there for another 2 hours and smile at her after what she said to me in front of everyone. Our cousin Priya texted me that night and said, I think Dana was out of line, but you walking out made it worse. Marcus called the next morning. He was measured the way he always is, and he said, for what it's worth, I had no idea she was comparing our gifts. That wasn't okay. But then he said, leaving early gave her the narrative. Now she gets to say you made her wedding about you. And yeah, that lands. A few weeks later, Dana sent a message. Not an apology exactly, more of a I was emotional and stressed that day kind of message. No acknowledgement of what she said, and I haven't responded yet. My mom is now in the middle, Marcus is staying neutral, and Theo, sweet Theo, sent me a separate text saying the bowl is on their kitchen table and they use it every week. I don't know what to do with that. So here's where I'm at. I gave what I could. I think what Dana said was cruel, and I think she said it on purpose in that setting because she knew I wouldn't blow up at her own wedding. But I also left early, on her wedding day. And whether I like it or not, that is the part everyone's going to remember. She gets to feel like the one who was abandoned. I get to feel like the one who was humiliated. And we're both sitting in that 3 weeks out with our mom holding her breath in between us. Was the bowl enough? I think it was more than enough. Did I handle it right? I honestly don't know. So, am I the problem here? Honestly, though, what would you have done? Comment below.